The only word that comes to my mind is incredulous. What am I talking about?
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Well, last night when I came home from the office and I sat down and turned on the TV news, suddenly there was a commercial, and a commercial that featured 6 Democratic legislators, some senators, some congresswomen and congressmen. And all of them were pointing out the fact that they had served in America's military or in our intelligence services like the CIA and FBI. And they were essentially encouraging people who are now serving in the military or in the police or any other kind of enforcement agency that they should refuse to obey any illegal order that they are given. Which was kind of crazy because that's already the way the law is written, that you're not allowed to do things that are illegal, even if you're ordered to do so. And so it seemed like kind of strange, but the implication was fairly obvious. What they were implying was that Trump was forcing people in law enforcement and the intelligence to do things that are illegal, which is interesting because they never define what the illegality is. But essentially what it is that they're promoting what we call insurrection, which is kind of ironic coming from the Democrats. But you see, historians have discovered over the last several decades that there are certain steps that precede a civil war or basically a collapse of a society into a anarchist-like violence. The first one, they talk about being polarized from one another, that we become more divided, the more and more issues that we argue about. Left and right become more hardened positions, and the middle begins to disappear. Then there comes a distrust, secondly, of the institutions, that you can't trust the courts. You can't trust the government, certainly can't trust the legislators or even your local police or law enforcement. And then there comes the economic strain. And those things are natural because you begin to distrust each other. Economics began to suffer as a result, and people began to have a harder time paying their bills and putting food on the table. Then there comes those cultural fractures, and that's really what the LGBTQ crap is all about. It's about the idea of dividing us up and getting people to really throw off the culture that is the Judeo-Christian ethic that has governed our nation. We get rid of that and embrace this new set of standards. And then what happens ultimately is kind of a demonization of anybody who's not on board, who doesn't follow along. And this, of course, then begins to promote positions that are extremist, like Antifa and other anarchist type of organizations, or the Islamo-Palestinian groups and so forth. And then finally what we find is the government becomes so divided and so segmented that it becomes paralyzed. It can't do anything. And when we talk about do nothing Congresses, or even like we had under the previous administration where the government did nothing, well, it's a do nothing government. The number 8 in the list of those 9 things is the one that's really being promoted here, and it's called basically forcing the security organizations within the nation to divide, getting the police departments and even the police and the military and the National Guard and the intelligence services and ICE and all these different law enforcement agencies stop cooperating with each other and stop submitting to the authority of the President of the United States. And that's what they were calling for in this ad. It's just out and out a rebellion or insurrection. And when you get to this point where those 8 things have already taken place, and this is like the beginning of number 8, then when you come to the last one, you just need a triggering event that suddenly pushes everything over the edge, and the country breaks down into anarchy. And it's really, really, I think what's so sad is these politicians, I don't know if they don't know what they're doing, don't understand the depth or impact of their encouragements, but even the disingenuousness of it, of saying that if anybody does disobey an illegal order, apparently as they perceive it as being illegal, that they have their back, that these politicians have their back. And the problem is these people will be violating the law, and they'll be committing a rebellion against authority, and they'll probably end up in prison and suffer consequences. And so what does it mean that you'll have their back? You'll just basically let these poor people suffer because of your poor advice. So I think these are perilous times, as Scripture says, and I think that these politicians need to be held accountable.